up in a moment.
Okay.
Setting up your custom streaming service. Yeah, that's it. We're here. We have arrived. Right. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we'd like to welcome you to today's show, where we're going to be out there in outer space. And John is going to tell us more about it.
Yeah. And as Joanne told us that Jolé would say, it's going to be a great show. Is it going to be a great show, Jolé?
Absolutely. It always is.
Yeah, so Joanne, thank you for joining us early, and thank you everybody else who's coming online right now. Appreciate you being here with us. It is going to be a fascinating show. I love pulling these things together along with Jolé because I learn so much every week, and it also just reinforces all these things that we've been covering recently, with the focus around Dr. David Clements recently, the activations and various other things. It's just layer upon layer of new information. And sometimes it's going back into what is the true history of everything, because we have been fed so much distortion over the decades that it's almost beggars belief when you start to peel back the layers and realize that none of certain things were true at all. And it was a lot of manipulation. So to my mind, this is where this is the importance of digging under the surface of a lot of these things, because again, it allows us to come to terms with it and just let go and move forward. But there's exciting things that are going on right now. And that's what this is all about. It's about creating community. It's about coming together. It's about being on this journey together. Oh, and one thing I was going to mention to you again, for anybody who wants to join our newsletter distribution, I'll just quickly put this up actually, just because I can. So yeah, this newsletter goes out weekly, and obviously there's a lot more to it than this because we include the edited version of the show that we're doing right now, and there is just a bunch of sort of like things that come together around this. And again, it's a nice little community piece. So if anybody wants to be on the distribution list for this, then please just drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, or go through the website, which is elevatedplanet.life/contact, which gets you through to the free format contact page. And we will pop you onto a distribution list. And it's another avenue as well where, we often feature people from our community who come through with ideas and with stories and with poetry or whatever it happens to be. So it's just pulls us together into that community, makes it a little bit more solid. So, but having said that, we love the fact that when you subscribe to our channel as well, you're already part of our community. We have a WhatsApp group as well, actually. So anybody who wants to join the WhatsApp group, I'll pop the link to that down below in the details as well. So yeah, you'd be very welcome to join us. But yeah, for today, this is really a fascinating story, and we start off by going back in time a little, to the medieval times, truth be told, but how that those times actually do align with where we are today, and that's the interesting thing about it. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention to you as well, and ask Jolé's opinion on this as well. But I'm going to say happy Pisces blood moon eclipse, because that is happening tonight, right? So what is all that about, Jolé?
New beginnings, endings. Let's be patient. It's helping us transition, as well as revealing things. So, what do we always say? Be neutral, sit in self love. Unconditional love is much, unconditional love. Wow. What is that really, if you think about it? That's something challenging to reach in this, body. However, just sit in positive energy.
Yeah. I think that unconditional love has to be pure heart based, sacred space of the heart, that infinity point that David Clements talks about. I think that's where because you're right. I think once we're in the physical and we've got this roller coaster of emotions going around us to reach that absolute pinnacle, it's kind of like it's a leap. We will get there. I think that is part of what this transition's all about. But it's a point well made.
Yes. But what we need is community. We need support. And that's what's going to help us get there faster.
Yes, yes, indeed it is, for sure. Um, the other thing, a point of interest from this week, I've been starting to edit up my latest ramble with Rua, which is all about tarot. So for anybody who's interested in tarot, you'll be wanting to see this. It's going to be a two-part series on the major and the minor arcana, and Rua is a bit of an expert in that. And Jolé, I know you use that a lot as well.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do. It is such a wonderful tool because if we believe in energy, right? We believe in stress, but we don't believe in positive energy, right? I mean, it's weird how there's these rules around negativity that we don't apply to positivity or like magical
Mm,
thinking. But the tarot, when you are in a divine space, that energy translates and it'll let you know, it can communicate with you.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I find it fascinating because I don't know that much about tarot. But I'm learning a lot, and that we're going to get the two parts and probably put them out while I'm actually away traveling because we've got another 2 weeks of lives after this one, and then I am going to be gone for a month of Sundays. That's only 4 consecutive Sundays as I travel over to Mauritius to yeah. So if you happen to be in Mauritius on the 6th of October, you can come and join us at our Long Beach Resort for the wedding.
Beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. But yeah, we'll be working around that. I know Jolé will be reaching out to you during that time anyway, and we'll kind of work it out between us. But just to put people on notice about that. Also, yeah, that's it really in terms of all I wanted to say before we go into this. But this first section is from a book that we featured quite a bit earlier this year. And I love this book because it's full of activations, it's full of light codes. And you just know when you're listening to it or when you're watching or reading it, because it depends. I have it on both, I have it both in the book form and in the audible form as well. Because that's how much it means to me. I don't want to just have one format. I want to have one where I can be out on the road and listening to it as well. But yeah, the light codes and activations within, and this is all about activations again, like Dr. David has done through his Arcturians channelings and things like that. This is where we're heading, right? This information is coming through now to us for a reason. And some of it will resonate with certain people more than others. And that's good, right? Because we're all different for a reason. And so being able to reach out and see these things and experience them, it does give you an opportunity to decide what it is that really works for you. Anyway, without further ado, we are going to dive straight into part one now, and we are going to the Templar Knight is going to lead the way. Again, the book, which is The Hypnotist's Journey to Avalon, written by Sarah Bressman Cosme, who is a quantum healing hypnosis technique specialist. She was taught by Dolores Cannon. Dolores passed away in 2014, and what is the most incredible thing about this is that Dolores from the other sides effectively lines up the clients for Sarah here. So the books effectively write themselves. And it's incredible the way that the information comes through. And Sarah would say this herself if you ever see her in interviews, that, one client leads to the next client to the next client, which is just building the story. And there is so much to learn. And this is where we begin, because this is a lady who went back into a life as a Templar Knight. And, well, we're just taking the end of this story. So, again, the book comes highly recommended. But here we go. We're going to dive in. I'm going to shut up now. So, see you on the other side.
Andrea's session opened the door to a hidden chapter of history, where the Knights Templar were not just protectors of treasure, but guardians of something far more dangerous. Through her memories, the truth about the Ark of the Covenant, the power of monatomic gold, and the cosmic battle between light and dark was revealed. showing how the forces shaping our world today have deep roots in ancient struggles. Tell me about this powder. This powder could keep you alive even if you didn't have food. We made it with an alchemical process. What was this powder called? They called it monoatomic gold, a substance that would completely renew the body and awaken the spirit. When we prepared it, we dissolved the powder in water and drank it, and the experience was beyond words. The moment it touched you, you felt every cell ignite, pure energy coursing through you like you were vibrating on a higher frequency. It made you feel profoundly alive, connected to something greater. This powder held such immense power that we had no choice but to keep it hidden, protected from those who might misuse it. It wasn't just a substance, it was a gift, a spiritual force we had to honor and safeguard. Why did this power need to be hidden? It gave immense power to anyone who used it, both physical strength and spiritual connection. But in the wrong hands, it could be dangerous. People with bad intentions could misuse it to dominate others. It wasn't just ordinary gold. It was something far more powerful. Where did this come from? This was something far more ancient and spans throughout many star races and galactic planes. It was also used at times in Atlantis. It didn't just strengthen us physically, it connected us spiritually to higher realms, allowing us to receive knowledge and guidance. Who are you hiding this from? Secret societies with dark agendas, people who want to control the planet. These groups are linked to an ancient reptilian alien race that seeks to dominate humanity. Their agenda is to halt human evolution and keep us trapped in lower states of consciousness. They've manipulated the bloodlines of powerful families, splicing their DNA with theirs so they can control humanity from the shadows. How does this manipulation affect these families? Some of these people with reptilian DNA feel a deep desire for power and control. They are driven by it. They're not entirely free. They answer to the reptilians, who they see as superior. Where do these reptilian beings come from? They are from another universe, one they destroyed through their greed and darkness. After their world collapsed, they developed technology to escape, and now they travel, seeking to conquer and control. Why haven't they succeeded yet? There are powerful, benevolent beings here to protect humanity and our evolution. These beings are stronger than the reptilians and ensure that their influence doesn't completely take over. The light is always stronger than the dark. What will happen to the reptilians? They'll destroy themselves, just as they did before. Their vibration is too low to survive in the higher realms, where humanity is headed. They can't come with us when we ascend. They'll be left behind, wandering the universe. Why are they so intent on controlling humanity? They need resources, and they want to control us for their survival. But they'll never fully succeed. Humanity is evolving and our growth is unstoppable. However, this depends on which timeline you are on. Polarization is happening now. Those who align with love, kindness, and spiritual growth are on the higher timelines, moving toward ascension. Those clinging to fear and control are on the lower timeline and will continue to be consumed by fear and control. Why is there a negative timeline? To teach those who are unaware to begin the awakening journey within themselves. Sometimes it takes darker realities to pull people forward to the awakening ascension program. What happens to people on the lower timeline when they pass away? They'll shift into higher timelines after death. No one is lost forever. Ascension is a natural part of the soul's journey. When does the splitting take place? It's taking place now, and will continue for all eternity. Shifting and ascending is a natural part of being alive. The shifting process for those experiencing higher timelines will allow them to become galactic citizens and awaken their true power. Are there any practices someone could do to shift themselves to a higher timeline? Giving more. Expecting less, receiving and giving love, being kind, doing inner work will move them to higher timelines. On the higher timelines, the evil agendas will soon all be exposed and extinguished. Is there anything else Andrea can do to shift to a higher timeline? Yes, Andrea will shift if she learns how to love herself. This is the biggest catalyst for growth. When she starts to love herself, she will heal. She will come to understand that all her wounds are wounds that she has placed on herself in one way or another due to the lack of self-love. For generations, you have been taught to prioritize the care of others over yourselves, suppressing the immense power that true self-love holds. Society has conditioned you to believe that loving oneself is selfish, when in truth, it is the most sacred act of healing and growth. Each person is here to embody their own divine essence, and that journey begins by truly knowing and loving oneself. This is the sacred act of alchemy, and allowing the transcendence of the soul's highest expression, a powerful force that dissolves the illusions of separation and heals the wounds carried through lifetimes.
You know, self-love and inner work is something that I really stress, moving to a higher vibration and frequency. And the reason why inner work is so important is because we have things in us we didn't put there. Maybe our perceptions have skewed some things, but often in a lot of us, there is programming. We can't help it. It's just what we signed up for in this society. And when we begin to love ourselves, we can strip away what it is that no longer serves us, or maybe something that was a past belief of our family, of our genetic line that no longer serves us. It doesn't work anymore. But when we do the inner work, we can recognize these patterns. And then, as David Clements has taught us, we can then change the film, because we're all channels of light and blessings. It's just some of us take ownership over that. And so once you realize that no matter what you're doing, it can be from a gardener all the way to a surgeon, you're a channel of light and blessings. And when you're giving more and expecting less and you're doing your inner work, what you are doing is you're making it safe for others to do the same. You're opening up space for your fellow man and humanity to begin to step into their own energy and power. And this, to me, right now is very important, because that's the difference between staying at a low frequency and vibration and moving into this new timeline of unspeakable beauty. Because finding the beauty within you first is what is going to get you there.
Wonderful. Well said, Jolé. Thank you very much. The reason for starting with this extract from Sarah's book comes down to that quote: "The cosmic battle between light and dark shows how the forces shaping our world today have deep roots in ancient struggles." Interestingly, monatomic gold was also found in a projection room chamber that was uncovered in the Bucegi Mountains of Romania back in 2003, and the projector was a holographic hall of records that revealed the true history of humanity, although that information has not yet been allowed to be revealed. The chamber that was discovered by ground-penetrating radar had to be accessed by sophisticated tunneling equipment provided by the Pentagon, working in conjunction with the Romanian intelligence services. It was believed that the chamber and the 3 tunnels that started from it were built at least 50,000 years ago by larger beings who had sophisticated consciousness-assisted technologies. Interestingly, one tunnel emerges in the Giza Plateau, one descends deep into the inner earth, and the other one comes up in Tibet. There are portals that enable people to traverse these huge distances in moments. If you want to know more, read this book, Transylvanian Sunrise, along with the other books by Radu Cinema that detail these events and discoveries still further. Another point of interest was the Freemasons/Illuminati, who sought active involvement in the project. They're very well connected at the highest governmental levels, and the interaction that took place with them revealed a contempt for humanity that could be described as psychotic. They are the controllers, rapidly becoming the powers that were as we, the people, begin to step back into our power en masse. These major players, I believe, are controlled by the reptilian elites that really do exist, fantastical though that seems. I'm always happy to share the evidence to allow people to use discernment and judge for themselves, of course. But as the frequency of the planet rises, we move beyond the limitations of these controllers, and that makes this time very exciting. So, as we've been talking about human history, it is now time to turn over the floor to Elena Danaan to set foundations for incredible revelations that are about to unfold.
It's time I tell you why I came back, to give you the technology, the knowledge, and the true history of Earth, what really happened in the ancient times at the origin of everything. Not only the origin of humanity, but the origin of life on this planet. My mission is to inform you. I will tell you what is Genesis, what does it mean, what really happened, how people from other worlds were involved in the making, the engineering of Adam and Eve. The whole myth of the serpent in the tree is nothing else than the metaphor for your own power, for the activation of your DNA. I came back to give you all the details on how to activate yourselves. You don't need anybody to activate yourself. It doesn't work when it comes from outside. It is a metaphysical, alchemical process. Nobody else can do it for you. I came back to teach you this. It is time. You know, they have tried to stop me, the other faction, the faction of you, known as Enlil in the past. They have tried to shut my voice, to discredit me. They create a smear campaign. Who? The Illuminati. Enlil had created the deep state a very long time ago. He turned the religions against human spirituality. He crowned himself as Yahweh, a false god, a tyrant, a beast, the beast. He didn't want you to know this secret, that you can activate your own power and your independence, that there are no gods, but your own divinity. He never wanted you to know that you are a fractal of Source, that you are co-creators with God, that you have God's powers. They are trying to shut me down because I'm bringing you this knowledge. There are tremendous smear campaigns against me that are not very well done. Because the powers of darkness cannot achieve great work. The powers of light are greater than anything that can harm humanity. And it is time the powers of light rise. I came back for you, and for you I will stand, because it is time I reveal who I am.
For those that follow Elevated Planet, you will know that in recent times we've focused a lot of our energies on Dr. David Clements and his channeled meditations that allow us the opportunity to begin the process of remembering who we really are. We do this by permissioning our higher selves to remove the cloud of forgetfulness that descends upon birth, that of course leaves us vulnerable to the false matrix programming. Well, no more. David's meditation numbers 14 and 15 give us access to remember once more. It will, of course, be filtered through to us in a way that does not overwhelm, to enable us to integrate this new, old information for our highest good. The reason for mentioning this is because back in 2022, Elena started to receive all her past life memories back during an adventure to end all adventures. This book comes very highly recommended. Elena discovered many advanced lives that she had lived, one of whom was a high-ranking Anunnaki here on Earth at the time of the fall of Atlantis. And it is time for Elena to share her full story at the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection. This will be truly groundbreaking in terms of accessing the truth behind real human history, and I can understand as to why the powers that were will do their best to stop or ridicule her, to destroy her credibility. I had the pleasure of attending the UK-based event in May, and I can say that Elena is an extraordinary lady on an extraordinary mission. We shall be watching with interest. So next up we have yet another extraordinary lady who is of Arcturian descent. This is just a brief extract from Viviane Chauvet's recent interview with Emilio Ortiz. And as you watch this, I would like you once again to think of our dear friend Dr. David Clements. I'm pretty confident you'll get the gist.
We're not the only ones. The advanced Pleiadians, the advanced Arcturian VR, the advanced Andromedan, the High Council of Sirius, the Venusians, and many others have attempted throughout the Earth history at different branches of your timelines, approach those who call themselves the world leaders. We have approached them, and we are offered to share our advanced harmonic teachings. to share an aspect of how we have learned as a species to return into complete unity consciousness, advancement for the common good, for the highest good of globe, on a universal level, the common good for yourself, also the advancement of your soul development. We have approached this world leaders everywhere to bring us into that realignment and to teach about how to maintain yourself in the higher octave, how to decode the language of your DNA, how to be able to tune in, to be able to heal yourself, heal the planet, all of this. And guess what happened? We're turned down. We're not interested. We want your technology. And the turn says, you are way too young and you're lacking the emotional intelligence and the multidimensional awareness to understand even where we stand and what our technology is capable of. The technology we have to offer is our knowledge and our wisdom. Access denied. We're not interested in you. Now, as a result of this, it took the middle timeline a little bit further. So at this point of your history, the Earth, you should be already reascended by now. So it kind of took you a little bit further down the path hole, the rabbit hole, so to speak. But that's okay, because at this stage of where we are, again, no more interference. There's a lot of direct hands-on support. There's an acceleration of the global awareness on the planet. There's a reawakening of your heart center, your compassion. You're reopening this ability within yourself. And so what we have chosen to do is communicate with many of you on the planet. We call point of contact, teachers, meditation, healers. So we say, perfect, the world leaders are in a step-down frequency consciousness. We're going to talk to the population instead. We're going to talk with all of you. And we're going to represent our frequencies, our mastery, our teachings at the point where you need us the most. And that is right now.
Well, Viviane said it all, really. The world leaders only have their own interests at heart, and that reinforces the points already made by Elena, and in that extract also from the Templar Knight. But also, what I love about this is that the Arcturians and other benevolent galactic cousins are instead reaching out directly to we the people. And clearly one of those people is Dr. David Clements, which in turn has reached all of us through his channeled meditations. You just got to love this moment in history. There may be plenty of noise and distractions in the outside world trying to keep us divided, but we have learned that everything we ever need is already within us. We just choose to activate it to bring us out of the false matrix and into the divine creator mode, from where we can collectively create our world of unspeakable beauty. How wonderful is that? And now it is time to turn our attention to Atlas3i and uncover what is really going on here. Elizabeth April is here to set the scene for us. Fascinating stuff.
I've always thought that the biggest conspiracy, the biggest cover-up on planet Earth is the reality that aliens exist, that extraterrestrials exist, and that they have been interacting with human beings and planet Earth for a very, very long time. And just take a quick trip over to the History Channel, look at the show Ancient Aliens, to get a little depiction of the artifacts and the sort of folklore that has been surrounding extraterrestrials for a very long time, right? So just keeping that in mind. Okay, cool. So let's talk about this comment that's coming in. And I'm just going to go over some of the sort of facts that are out there first, and then I'll go into what I've explored through my own abilities. Okay. So this is actually the third interstellar object in our solar system, apparently in human history, but probably in recorded human history. So like, what is that? It's a very short period of time that we've been able to, I guess, survey the skies long enough and with enough technology to actually observe interstellar objects. But it's just interesting to note. So this object is called 31/Atlas, I think they're calling it. It has traits of a typical comet, but it's been speculated that it is an alien spacecraft due to its trajectory and its speed. There's a couple of weird things that don't totally match up, and so this is where all of the headlines are coming from. It's truly sensationalized, and you know, people love to sensationalize aliens and extraterrestrials and UFOs and all of that. And I just think it's funny how they always sensationalize the ones that aren't as, say, like provable or definitive as some of the footage and the things that have been caught on planet Earth. Okay. And then last sort of fact I wanted to put out there, that it will be the closest to Earth in October, November of this year. And this is why all of the headlines are saying alien invasion happening in November, which once again, just totally sensationalized. And I always roll my eyes at those headlines. But of course I want to know. I want to tap into it myself. Okay, so take or leave all of the information I'm about to give you. So last week, so typically when I want to know something, when I'm curious about something, I will just do my own remote viewing. That's essentially the core of my abilities. I'm a remote viewer. I'm able to consciously get out of my body and go wherever I want to go across space, time, and dimensions, which is pretty badass. And I truly believe that everyone has the ability to remote view. So that's how I gather information. Typically, I'll just go and check out the comet myself and I'll remote view over there. And yes, you can definitely do that. Last week, I had a meeting, a summit with the Galactic Federation of Light. Essentially, they're an organization of beings who are here to help us in our ascension. And I figured, why not just ask them instead of having to do the work myself?
So, to Elizabeth's point, remote viewing, while an amazing ability, is probably something we all have access to, albeit it is like a muscle that, for most of us, has atrophied because we have been conditioned and programmed to believe that it's woo-woo nonsense. Therefore, this is just one of our amazing powers that we can look forward to as we rediscover who we really are as humanity. Just to reinforce the point made by Elizabeth about how a remote viewer could simply out-of-body view an object in space by mentally projecting themselves, we should consider the amazing true story of Mary Ann Shinfield, a lady who was completely blind as she really didn't have any eyes. However, she was able to perform normal everyday tasks which included reading a book or watching TV without assistance. NASA scientists performed extensive tests on her to determine how she was able to see. Mary Ann had told the scientists that she was moving through space and was continuously watching what was going on in the solar system. Naturally, they didn't believe her, so they set up a test. They asked her to move alongside one of their satellites and give them some kind of reading from it. She was able to give them the serial number from the outside of the satellite, and from that point onwards, Mary Ann belonged to NASA. As such, I'm pretty confident that NASA and many others are already aware of exactly what is going on with Atlas3i. But don't expect the truth from them anytime soon. After all, why change the habits of a lifetime?
So here is everything that I gathered from them during that summit. First, they confirmed that it was indeed a ship. Okay, so no, this is not just an ordinary comet or object. That crazy scientist that was speculating it could be intelligent life was accurate. Obviously, on his end, it was just a speculation, and he is getting so ridiculed for even speculating. But yes, the Galactic Federation confirmed it was indeed a ship. And they also confirmed that it was part of the Galactic Federation, not their main mothership, just another ship, I guess. So it is intelligent life. Now, I had to ask, you know, there are so many ships in our solar system. There are so many ships in our skies, and most of them are cloaked. So what's the difference here? You know, like my question was, do they want to be seen? Does their cloaking device not work? Essentially what's going on? Why is this one sort of recognized and noticed, and why is there all this talk about it when there are so many ships out there and yet no one ever talks about them, or I guess sees them on their radar? And essentially what they said was that they do have a cloaking device, but it's more of like a disguise that they're able to do rather than an invisibility, if that makes sense. Like many ships, like most of the ships, are able to cloak themselves out of our visible spectrum. And that's not just a visual thing, but that's a technology thing as well. Like they are essentially able to fly literally under the radar just because they've got this technology to cloak them. Apparently, this ship in particular, it's not that it necessarily wanted to be seen because it is still being cloaked, sort of looking like a comet on the outside. But apparently it operates in a lower density, and that makes it detectable by human technology. That was the response I was given. So I'm like, okay, cool. I guess that makes sense. There are intelligent beings on board. So I had to ask, what's the purpose then? Like, what is this ship doing in our solar system? Obviously the question, should we be afraid? Should we be scared? Are they going to invade? Like all of the just the ridiculous things. But hey, good and bad out there. The purpose is kind of a little null and void, like really just not very exciting. All I got was that they're on a mission in the solar system to collect data, and they're just going to pass through without any sort of drama or intention of conspiracy or nefarious activity. They are literally just passing through.
A lady by the name of Davina Salmanos channels the Pleiadian High Council, and in her latest transmission she pretty much confirmed everything that Elizabeth had received from the Galactic Federation about Atlas3i, with some additional details added too. They pointed out that it will become more obvious to humanity that this is not a comet as a result of the minor course corrections and accelerations, as well as its perfect alignment trajectory passing close to the planets. The chances of that being random is infinitesimal. Plus, it remains stable, as in the ice on the supposed comet doesn't melt. As well as that, lights have been observed from the object as well. And many remote viewers are indeed already aware of this, just as Elizabeth is. Atlas3i is indeed on a mission to collect data, but in so doing it is also giving humanity a nudge, a message that there is more going on in the cosmos than they've been encouraged to believe. This is all possible due to humanity's rising frequency, and to quote the channeling directly, it was said, "We have clearance from Source and the cosmic hierarchy to intervene more openly now, because humanity's collective free will through your prayers and readiness is calling for it." So there you go. Powerful stuff. The ship is also emitting frequencies which may well be received through telepathic communications or vivid dreams. Open contact is not far off, and this ship is laying the groundwork by testing the reaction to its presence. One key aspect of this will be how the Cabal choose to manipulate mainstream and social media to increase fear, or to enact Project Bluebeam to create a fake alien threat to scare people into submission. As good fortune has it, the Galactic Federation can prevent false flag events from being successful, and they will intervene in the case of an overt deception scenario. The Cabal themselves will be completely aware of the truth of Atlas3i, but it seems unlikely that they would waste the opportunity to create a fear-based narrative, as well as taking the opportunity to exercise a stronger degree of control over the population. So stay ever vigilant. But for my part, I'm excited about what this means for humanity. This is a time of change, and part of that change is revelation of the truth behind our galactic cousins, as well as the truth behind the real history of humanity as a species. These things have been suppressed for many thousands of years, but the truth shall set us free, and it's heading our way right now.
So apparently on planet Earth, there are higher, this is how they put it, there are higher authorities on Earth that are aware of the true nature of the comet, the ship, but are suppressing public knowledge of it. And then they said any scientist that's theorizing it as intelligent are being ridiculed for a reason. This is why you gotta just love conspiracy theorists, right? We question the narrative. We are totally bullied for questioning the narrative. And that's by design, right? Truly. And I'm a big believer in questioning everything. But I'm also very critical and skeptical, but I'm curious and logical. So I really look at everything from a curiosity lens, but I also take everything with a grain of salt, including what extraterrestrials, ascended masters, higher vibrational beings, even just my higher self has to say. So I want to sort of relay that to all of you as well, is it's important to be curious. It's really important to question everything, but it's also important to kind of, tune into that gut feeling. Does it resonate? Does it not resonate? Does it feel good? Does it make sense or not? And if not, no big deal. Just drop it because it's not for you in this moment.
We're back. So, there's a lot of information there. And I got to say that, along with the explanation from Elena Danaan, the one from Viviane Chauvet, who was the Arcturian channel, it was really interesting because they're all pointing to this same thing, that this is about us getting back into our power. What do you think, Jolé?
Absolutely. It's very powerful information. And I know some of us, even me, are very maybe afraid or skeptical about these new energies coming in. I don't even think they're new. And because while this was going on, even, I'm a skeptic in a way. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want any of that coming to me. Like maybe it could go to someone else. I've always been saying that. And then during the show, the spirit sort of opened up my memory bank. And it was interesting because how I know is I felt like a tingle in the back of my neck. And
Wow.
when I felt that, it was like a cold air. And I just felt like I connected with my ancestors. And they were like, do not be afraid. You have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the wisdom, and you're ready. So it's okay. Open up to these energies. When you vibrate at a frequency and a certain frequency, you will attract in what is good for you.
Wow. That's immense. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. And it's not the
Yes.
first time, it's not the first time we've been connected, or you've been connected with during our shows, actually. And
Yeah.
that with Chris Styles as well, going back
Yeah.
a few months ago.
That was a very difficult, that's sometimes why I think some of us carry so much pain, is because you it connects. It's weird. And that's what we're moving out of. In the past, the struggle, the pain, the trauma is what connects you to people, that humiliation,
Yeah. Yeah,
but you work through it and you grow and you learn. And I know through this process, the spirit has been working with me. And I'm just so grateful to be here and to be open to the messages from the divine.
I love that. I love that, Jolé. There's a reason that we got pulled together to bring Elevated Planet around, and
Yeah,
it's,
absolutely.
it's it's nice to feel the power of this, stepping through with steps being laid out in front of us, one after the next after the next.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And one of the discussions that we had a couple of days ago, when we were talking about this, Mary Ann Chinfield, right?
Mhm.
Because again, this is where, when you're a skeptic, you look at this and you would say, well, that's nonsense, right? If you care to actually look at NASA and say, okay, Mary Ann Chinfield, tell us about her, you will find
Mhm.
nothing whatsoever from NASA about Mary Ann Chinfield. So straight away, the skeptics have an easy out there and say, well, it's just a fairy
Exactly.
story. But
You know,
yeah, sorry, carry on.
oh, no, no. I was just saying, when you hear this information, if it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
and it doesn't resonate.
yeah. No, and this is a really weird thing, isn't it? Because she could, by all accounts, because this is where the story came from. Was there was two books, right, which
Mhm.
included big, vast sections about, well, a section about her going into detail about this, and one of the first book that she was in was this one, which is you know, the classic from Drumbelow, his first book of
Mhm.
the Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life. He talks about it there. He also talks about it in this book, which is The Living in the Heart. And this is actually really an interesting thing because that was the basis of that discussion that we had the other day, was really saying, okay, well, is this real? And so, okay, digging under the surface a little bit more, how Drumvalo got to know Marianne was basically because he knew Pete Carroll, who at the time was the head coach of the New York Jets. Okay, not wouldn't mean a great deal to me as a Brit, but anyway, Pete Carroll knew Marianne Shinsfield and made the introduction to Drumvalo, knowing that he's deeply obviously into the spiritual thing and that he's like connected on so many levels. And it so turned out that Drumvalo had, you know, about 4 months where he had weekly conversations with Marianne, talking about this ability for her to see things, you know, without having any physical eyes. I mean, she was born without eyes, right? So the ability to see TV, the ability to read books, the ability to drive a car.
Yes, that's amazing.
And this wasn't, I mean, I would be a little bit alarmed if when I get on my flight to Mauritius and saying, hello, your pilot today is Marianne Shinfield.
You
Just,
know?
yeah, I mean, imagine that, right?
And when I was talking about things not resonating in terms, I was talking about NASA and the oppression that our government has given to this information that can free us, you know. And so when we're finally uncovering people like Marianne Shenfield, and we're finally uncovering all these little, putting these pieces of the puzzle back together, it's like it's upgrading us.
Yes. Yes, it is. And another point of interest on this. So basically, having dug under a little bit under the surface again, there's a website and there's a link to the website in the details below actually, so if you can go and check this out for yourself if you so wish. But again, talking specifically about Marianne Shinfield and the Drumbelow Melchizedek sort of story behind this, and they were explaining again the NASA thing. They go into that in some detail and just say, you know, that's basically what she did. And said she proved that she could not only see what was in front of her, but could see any point in the entire solar system at will. She proved this by reading the back of one of their satellites while it was in orbit. Said, believe it or not, these days this is not unusual. More and more people have proven that it is possible to see without the physical biological eyes. This is because the true nature of reality originates from within your heart. You are dreaming right now, and the dream is springing forth directly from the center of your sacred heart. It is the heart which ultimately creates everything, sees its own creation. If one can't see this, this is actual true blindness, the sleeping state. When you begin to enter and manifest from the heart, you may be able to travel through space. You may not be able to travel through space right away or read NASA satellites, but your entire view of reality begins to change because you begin to see from the heart, which is completely different, almost secret level to an almost secret level of existing. It is very difficult to describe it. You have to see it for yourself. Now, what I love about that, again, it takes us back to the teachings that we've seen in recent times, again, from Dr. David, from the Arcturians, about the infinity point, and also where Drumvalo takes us on the, you know, when I did his Awakening the Illuminated Heart workshop. It's all about accessing the tiny sacred space within the heart. That is where this comes from. Because when you think about it, right, our physical eyes are limited to a very narrow bandwidth frequency relative to the full spectrum of light. Okay, we can see less than 1%. It's been proven, right? So our physical eyes allow us to see through the physical body, yet what we're seeing is less than 1% of reality. When we're seeing through that, I guess this is something that came just before we did the show, right? I was talking about orbs, right?
Yes.
Right? When I've seen orbs and things like that, when I've had readings and they've come through into the room, you can see them on cameras and things. I can't see them physically, but some people can. Orbs don't have eyes, yet they see everything, right?
Yes.
Because it's kind of, it's pure consciousness and you don't need physical eyes. So the same, I believe that is what we're accessing when we're doing this kind of, whether it's remote viewing or anything like that. You're seeing not through physical eyes, You see it as if you're seeing it through physical eyes, but everything comes through the heart. I just find this really fascinating.
Yeah. It's beautiful, especially, and that's why when we do that meditation and we opened up that portal between the heart and the mind, it just allows for those two things to be in harmony. You know, Elizabeth April and the guided information that she speaks of, she also talks about how she sits in logic and reason, and she does her research even though she's able to remote view. You know, so always we should keep in mind the science and the grounded aspect of what we're talking about. So, but orbs are fascinating. And if anybody's ever seen a picture, they're even in paparazzi photos, in newspapers, you see those orbs and it's like, oh, that's a light refraction. What is that? Like, it's picking up something very interesting, you know, and we just fly by
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. But to your point, yeah, using discernment, that's what this era is about. You know, you have to use
Yes,
your discernment. And as Elizabeth herself said as well, it is about what resonates for you. If it doesn't resonate for you, it's not for you. Okay?
exactly.
Not at this moment of your evolution, put it that way, right? It may do at some point in the future. But you have to use discernment right now and, you know, and be skeptical. Be skeptical about everything because, but particularly be skeptical of the things been told not to be skeptical of, right?
Right.
Because that's the narrative that is being constantly fed to you that you've been told for a lifetime. Oh no, you can trust this. This is the mainstream media. We'd never tell lies, would we? Oh, we're the government. We represent you. We'd never tell lies. You know, it's kind of like you realize after a while, you know, whether it's religion, whether it's corporations, whether it's government, or financial institutions. You know, there is a lot of corruption out there. There's a lot of greed that drives things out there. So, you know, use your discernment and research it for yourself.
Exactly. And you know, what that does is that gets you more in alignment with your own intuition, you know, and then you can start to make your own choices and decisions instead of being, once that programming button is hit, like Pavlov talked about, you know, now you're
Yes.
like a zombie, you know, you go, wait a minute, critical thought,
Yeah, absolutely.
critical love, whatever you want to call it. That's like, hey, that's not in alignment with me, or that is, and lean into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, and again, just to finish off that subject on the remote viewing, I have got a book here which is Beyond Sight, which is by Tony Rodriguez. We mentioned a little bit about Tony Rodriguez recently, and in fact, he's another speaker at that Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection that takes place this month in Charlotte. So he is one of those who was on the 2020. He was on the secret space program. And in fact, I got an email, I think it was yesterday, from one of our community, David, and he sent me a bunch of links, including an interview with coincidentally with Tony Rodriguez. And it's amazing stuff. That and Michael Salla, and I've got one of Michael's books I'm reading at the moment. And they are very good friends of Elena Danaan. They always work together. And it's, you know, that Galactic Spiritual Informers connection is really bringing out a lot of truth. And I think that what Elena is going to come out with in that latest conference is going to be fascinating because I know that life as an Anunnaki and things like that. She was slightly horrified when she first found out because she always kind of assumed that the Anunnaki were the bad guys. But
Yeah.
even amongst the you know the supposed bad guys, they were actually good and bad. There were those who were trying to help humanity, and there were those that were trying to enslave humanity. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and she speaks of the Epic of Gilgamesh, right? You know, and how that is what the Bible is based on. So, Elena Danaan to me is so grounded in the information that she has given us, even though it's in the cosmic sphere and she's really giving, you know, talking about things that are out there. In her energy is very grounded. She's giving you what I look at as science, you know, and I can't wait until some of this stuff is really just integrated into, because what it does is it opens us up.
Yeah. Yes, it does. It definitely does. And, you know, one of the things that, again, just bring us around before we go into the meditation, community, right? Getting back towards that
That's
discussion
right.
around community. Because
That's right.
one of the things we were talking about, again, was, you know, we used to have We started it going back, but we didn't have many followers at the time at all, no many subscribers. And we started something that was called Nos Populi, which means we the people. And what we would be really interested to know is if we started off, we the people, Nos Populi again, elevated planet community, people coming together so that we can start to decide where we want to go with this. And all you've got to do is put in the comments below anytime over the next week or two, because we'll kind of accumulate things over time. I would love to be involved with, Nos Populi, we the community, we the people. And if, for instance, you might have some specific skills, you may be really good with social media, you may be very good at, I don't know, some website creation or something like that. I think, oh, actually, not only would I want to be part of it, but I would actually want to be one of those who can help to create it as well. What do you
Yes.
reckon, Jolé?
Absolutely. It's very important. We speak about community often, especially with what's going on, this transition, endings, beginnings. And I know it looks like everything is saying to us, you need to get on your own and your bootstraps and all that. I mean, yes, do your part. Nevertheless, please understand that leaning in and looking for support is important. And on the flip side, be there for people. And what does that look like? Holding space for them, as well as if they decide to tell you their business, how about you keep it to yourself? How about you just hold space instead of giving advice?
Mm-hmm.
How about you seek to take action in a way that is more than just words,
Yeah.
speech? Just think about some of these things, and we'll go into that and sit in that during the meditation.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, because, absolutely about this era is about personal sovereignty, not giving your power away, but at the same time recognizing the fact that the power of group consciousness is enormous and it can move mountains, it can create a world of unspeakable
Absolutely.
beauty. But we all have to be on the same wavelength, right? We all have to find out the reason we are here and what our specific strength is, and to get into that heart space, right?
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Fantastic. Okay, right. So I think now we're going to head towards meditation. Yeah.
Yes. And one more thing, just one more
Mm.
quick thing. I want people to understand when I say open up, some people think that these energies are malevolent, that they are demonic. And yes, those energies do exist. However, that is not what we are tuning into in any way, shape, or form. We are here to raise the energy and vibration of the light, to connect with the quantum field, to create unspeakable beauty.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And I know it's something that you always do whenever you do outreach. And I mentioned it before, protection, right? Around yourself, whatever you're
Exactly.
reaching out to, whenever you're channeling something, whenever there's those outreaches going out there, yes, you have to be very aware of the fact that there is dark as much as there is light. Therefore, what you want to attract in is everything to do with the light. But
Right. And it's important to know your soul architecture so that you can stay grounded in your own energy and knowing where you end and begin, and the next person or energy ends and begins. Because that entanglement is good if you have boundaries, because you can go in and go out, because there's some people where we are weak, others are strong. Where we are strong, others are weak. And so if we come together, I think we can really affect change
yes,
in a
yes,
positive way.
absolutely. Totally. Okay, right. We're going to go to the meditation now. And to lead us into the meditation today, we have a couple of minutes from the channeling of the Galactic Federation, the Pleiadian High Council, who are setting the scene for us this week for Jolé's guided meditation, creative visualization. And this really kind of encapsulates it within this couple of minutes. And then Jolé is going to lead the way into the magic. So here we go.
This is the time long foretold, the shift into a new era. The realization of galactic citizenship will spark incredible positive change, advanced healing, clean technology, spiritual growth, and an end to the old divisions. You are going to witness and help shape this new era. How blessed is that? Yes, the golden age is dawning. It won't be without a few bumps, but the outcome is assured. The light wins, love prevails. Please continue to take care of yourselves and each other through these changes. Support your body and mind, integrate the new energies, and reach out in community. Coming together in unity is how this shift will be easiest. Above all, remember, you are not alone and you are profoundly loved. The entire cosmos is celebrating you. We have waited eons to reunite with our Earth family, and the time is finally arriving. Move forward with confidence and an open heart. The truth, once feared by some, is going to set everyone free. And you, dear ground crew, have helped make it happen. I send you my blessings and all my love. Feel our presence with you, in the sky above and the heart within. Until we meet, and we will meet, know that we of the Pleiadian High Council and the Galactic Federation are with you always. We hold you in the highest regard and affection. I am Mira of the Pleiadian High Council, and I lovingly assure you, the light is victorious and the dawn is here.
Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take another deep breath in. And as you exhale, put your feet flat on the floor, your palms face up on your thighs, and bring your awareness to the center of your chest. I just want you to sit here for a moment and just feel love and gratitude. And we're going to ground from this space of the heart. So I want you to see a beautiful golden grounding cord. It's gold. We're gonna do some different work today. So we'll make it gold. See it connected to that heart and see it move through your chakra system, your solar plexus, your sacral, your sacrum, your roots, move down through the layers of Mother Earth. And this gold is going to adjust to 6 inches in diameter as it begins to travel at the speed of unconditional love and immediately root itself into the core of Mother Earth. We're going to see a golden aura layer all around us. Our higher self, at a comfortable distance above our crown, is also going to be gold. Our astral body. And today we are just going to go cosmic. And we're going to open up our crown, and 100% cosmic life force energy is going to become pouring down from the heavens. And I want you to feel what this feels like to just be lit up with 100% cosmic gold life force energy as it just pours down the grounding cord and into Mother Earth, helping, creating, giving back. Feel what this feels like. Light up every atom. Every cell in your body is pulsating with golden cosmic life force energy. I want you to just you're just a bright light. Just a bright light. Because what we want to feel right now is that feeling of unconditional love. So sit in your heart and just let this gold light show you what unconditional love feels like. Let it flow in. Let it sprout out your hands. and just burst out your feet. And just, it's like a dam breaking. Any blocks, any programming, fear, depression, anxiety, illness is being blown out. And this is the perfect time as you sit in your heart to get to work and change those films. What do you want to see? Align yourself with the laws of the universe. The Fibonacci sequence, see the gold, turn into that for your body, a symphony of wellness, of unconditional love. This is the stuff of creation. Right here is this 100% golden life force energy pours through your body. Visualize your most highest good unconditionally as you smile, enjoy, and you just sit here and know there are limitless possibilities as this gold light pours through you. What do you want to see? How do you want to see it? Sit here in love, love for yourself, love for your environment, and see clearly your most loving, unconditionally loving good. And allow for that energy to just move through your body in a symphonic way. (432 hertz). That's what you are. Pulsating, moving through your body. You can see the golden moon and the little swirls moving through into the areas where there may be pain or illness, replacing it with love and joy as these cells, they join hands and they do the whole ring around the rosies, around the pain, and they just move it out down the grounding cord. And there's like a fire hose of just unconditional love pouring through your body, bringing wellness, health, aligning you with the laws of the universe. As you just sit in bliss, let it work. Transform your environment. Focus. Change those films. Plant those seeds. Visualize unconditional love. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, it is safe for you to have these things. It is safe for you to see yourself. It is safe to be yourself. Let that light pour through you. 100% cosmic gold life force energy, and whatever information it has is pouring through you, bringing wellness, abundance, community, openness to divinity. You are a bright light. We are bright lights. We are channels. We are blessings. And we have value. Let this light pour into every cell of your body and see wellness, see love, See joy. See abundance. Resolve and dissolve your karma. This gold light is resolving your past, your pain, your karma, your negative thoughts, your limiting beliefs. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body, and you just let this energy pour through you down into Mother Earth, washing away all of the blocks to unconditional love and unspeakable beauty. It's time to break open. So take a deep breath in, exhale. Take another deep breath in and exhale. And as you take this deep breath in and exhale, visualize that cascading gold light that's like a fire hose, getting less and getting less and getting less as you're able to gently close your crown like the lens of a camera, as you just stay electric and some of that energy pops out into your environment, bouncing around like those little orbs we talked about, just sending love all throughout the community. And then as it begins to sort of calm down, and it's just gold light all the way down to the roots. It's solid, and it's solid in a gold light sort of way. And all throughout you is just unconditional love. As you take a deep breath in and you exhale, open your eyes.
Beautiful. I love that. Feel like gold. That unconditional love. Wow. I'm still buzzing. I'm still partly there, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we are so opening ourselves up to this information of the ancestors and the cosmos, then, let's hit fifth gear.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about it. You're talking about you suddenly have that, activation coming through from your ancestors, right? During this very broadcast. And
Mm-hmm.
how this is happening, as again, I've mentioned before, other healers I know have been receiving that a lot recently. And again, this comes back to the idea of community. And I'll say it again. Anybody who wants to be involved in a community
Yes.
where we come together as we the people, do put a note down here underneath
Yeah.
and let
Let
us
us
know
know.
over these next couple of weeks. We'll assess if there's enough interest to do that and to create something. And if you're a healer or you're a tarot card reader and you've got skills that you believe you can bring to people, or even if it is just like social media skills and all the rest, everything that we're going to need to pull that community together. It we a community is made up of, it's got to be multifaceted to actually be of value, right? So whatever. If you just want to be part of the community, just tell us you want to be part of the community. If you want to bring something to it and you have a specific skill set, tell us about it. Love to hear it. Love
Yeah,
to.
absolutely. And if you know someone who needs meditation or who needs calming energy or to learn how to work with their energy, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe so they can take advantage of these meditations, and we can also build our community.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. And also just to mention the facts, I rarely ever mention this and I should do, but Jolé does private personal kind of readings and healing sessions as well, and she's exceptionally good. In fact, we wouldn't be working together now if she wasn't exceptionally good, because when I first met her back in February 2020, that's exactly what she did for me. So since then, she either had to take out a restraining order or start working with me. So
Thank you so much, Sean. I'm really grateful. And that was the community that I needed because, like I said, sometimes doing this work, it's like, I don't know where it went to where we have a lot of trauma coming in. If you talk to most healers and people who do this work, they've gone through the ringer and come out. We don't want that for our indigo children, so that's the thing that I must say community brought me, was being able to come out of my shell and share my gifts. Thank
yeah.
you, John.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Couldn't do it without you, that's for sure. And lots of comments from the community today already, and truly, truly grateful for you being here with us today. It means so much. This is the reason we do
Yeah, thank
this.
you.
And, as I mentioned before, we have a newsletter that goes out tomorrow, and that will have the link to the edited show, and that will be available on YouTube. So if you're a subscriber, you'll see that as well. And again, hit those comments if you fancy the idea of being part of the community on a different kind of basis, not just YouTube, but just kind of where we can come together as we the people, rather than relying on world leaders.
Right.
We can
Rely
start
on each
to
other.
exactly rely on each other and bring these beautiful skill sets to the fore, because that's what we're here for. We're all individuated pieces in a cosmic jigsaw puzzle. So we kind of fit together, right?
That's good.
Yeah. Bit of
That's good.
poetry.
And if you look at it like that, you understand that you need people, and there's just a level of automatic humility that will hit you.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
what I will say.
For sure. No, 100%. I think it's all very exciting. I love this
Yeah.
journey with Elevated Planet, because I learn every week as I uncover these, standing on the shoulders of giants is what we're doing. Is, like whether it's, Dr. David Clements, whether it's the Arcturians, whether it's the Pleiadians, whether it's Drumbelow Melchizedek, Mary Ann Shinfield, Elizabeth, April. I love what she does, and
Yeah.
Elena Danaan here for a very special reason. And the work that the likes of Dolores Cannon, even though she's now been off the planet now for 11 years, she's still working with Sarah Breskman Cosme, who's brilliant as well. And so many more.
Yep.
Sarah Landon, the list is endless, right?
Yes, it is. And this is our community. So join us, because this is where we sit, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, yes. And they'll all join us as well, all that lot. They'll soon be with us. So
Yes.
anyway, I suppose that's it for this week then. And other than that, we will see you next Sunday. It's not, I will be disappearing. We've got two more to go, two more lives before I disappear off for a few weeks, but we will still have plenty of content for you that will keep the pot boiling. And maybe I might even report in from Mauritius with those Lemurian light codes
Wow.
coming through from over there, which Kerry Kay told us about 3 weeks ago. Anyway.
I mean, it's beautiful because it sits on a crystal. So, I mean, soak it in.
I will. Speedos are at the ready. Okay, yeah.
All right.
TMI.
All right.
Anyway, okay, we'll see you next week. Take care. Lots of love to you all.
Bye.
Bye all.